needed materials for this project are going to be a 5mm or 5.5mm hook. You need 2 1-inch hair ties, a stitch marker, sewing needle, and then red and white medium weight yarn. I used a 5.5mm hook because my tension's tight, but you can achieve the same results with a 5mm if your tension's not super tight. For row 1, we're going to start with a magic circle. I like to do a double magic circle. I'm going to stick that hook underneath the 2 threads, pull that third one back, scoop it, and then chain 1 with the yarn closest to your ring finger. Okay, we're going to be doing 2 half double crochets in white. And then before completing that stitch, we're going to switch to red. And this is my preferred method for changing colors. You can use whatever method works for you. Okay, now we're going to do 2 half double crochets with the red. I like to include all those little bits of yarn underneath these stitches. Okay, now we're going to switch back to white on that last part of that stitch. Now 2 half double crochets with white. And then we'll switch to red at the end of that last stitch. And then 2 half double crochets with red. Okay, again, we're going to switch to the white yarn at the end of this stitch. All right, that's going to complete row 1. And just like any amigurumi project, we're going to close the magic circle. So with the double magic circle, I just scooch those stitches closer, pull the tail to see which of those loops moves. The loop that moves, we're going to pull that loop the opposite direction. When we do that, it closes the first loop. Now we can pull the tail, and it'll close the second loop. All right, we can see we now have our 8 half double crochets, which is the basis for a lot of these projects. I'm going to cut off these strings so they don't get in my way. They're secured underneath the stitches, so I can cut them pretty short. The red one I'm going to keep a little bit longer. I am going to reinforce that one just a little bit. And I like to put my stitch marker in the last stitch of that round. And now we're going to move on to row 2. Okay, so we can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're starting in white, and I'm going to carry the red yarn with me. So I'm going to crochet over that red yarn. We're going to do a half double crochet increase in each stitch around. Okay, so that was my first increase. And here's the second increase. Now I'm switching to red, so we need to make sure we switch to red yarn to complete that stitch. And you can see we have 4 now. Okay, now we're going to do an increase in the next stitch with the red yarn. Okay, that's our first increase. And here's the second increase. We're going to switch to white to complete that stitch. Okay, carry the red yarn with us. We're going to do an increase in the next stitch. Okay, another increase in white. We're going to switch to red to complete that stitch. Now we're going to carry the white yarn with us. Okay, do an increase in the next stitch. Okay, and then an increase in that final stitch that's marked with the stitch marker. To complete that last stitch, we're going to switch back to white. Okay, so you can already see it's starting to give it that nice peppermint swirl, and it does that automatically just because of the way these half double crochets line up with each other. The one time we're kind of happy that it has a natural slant. I'm going to move my stitch marker to the last stitch of that round. And now we're going to start round 3. Okay, my yarn has a tendency to get tangled. I don't have one of those fancy things that keeps them untangling, so about every row or so I'll just untangle my yarn. Okay, so now we're going to, with white, we're going to do half double crochet increase all the way around. Okay, we're going to carry the red yarn, half double crochet in the first stitch, and then a half double crochet increase in the next stitch. Half double crochet in the next stitch, and then a half double crochet increase in that last white stitch. We're going to switch to red to complete that half double crochet. And I like to give it a slight pull, make sure that it's tight, but not too tight. Okay, half double crochet in the next stitch. Then an increase. We are still carrying that white yarn with us. Half double crochet in the next stitch, and then an increase in that last red stitch. And we're going to switch to white to complete that stitch. Again, we want to pull it tight, but not too tight. Okay, now we're going to do a half double in the first stitch. Increase in the next stitch. We're still carrying that red yarn. Half double crochet in the next stitch, and then an increase in that last white stitch. We're going to switch to red to complete that stitch. Pull it a little bit tight. Okay, half double in that first stitch. Half double increase in the next. Half double in the next. And we'll do an increase in that last red stitch. And we're going to switch to white to complete that stitch. And that's the end of round 3. Even right there, you can turn this into a coaster. You can make this into an applique. There's lots of uses for it, even just going this far with this pattern. I'm going to untangle my yarn. And move my stitch marker to the last stitch of that round. Okay, for round 4 and 5, we're just going to half double crochet around. So just one half double crochet in each stitch, but make sure we're lining up with that correct color. So we'll do 6 in white, and then 6 in red, and 6 in white, and 6 in red. So half double in the last white, and then we're going to switch to red. Okay, again, we want to pull it, make sure it's tight, but not too tight. Now 6 half double with red. So since we are not increasing this round, it will start to curve, which is going to give us the shape of that bun hugger. Okay, half double in that last red stitch, and then we'll switch to white. Pull it tight, but not too tight. And now 6 half doubles in white. Okay, finish that last half double in white, and we're going to switch to red. Pull the red tight, but not too tight. And we're still carrying that white yarn with us as we do these last 6 red half double crochets. And the last red half double crochet in the stitch marked with the stitch marker. And then we switch to white to complete that stitch. Okay, you can already see it's starting to curve, giving it a ball or sphere look. Mark the last stitch of that round with the stitch marker. And we're going to repeat that again. So 1 half double crochet in each stitch around. 6 white, 6 red, 6 white, 6 red. And we're going to make sure we carry that red with us as we complete these 6 white half double crochets. We'll switch to red on that last white half double crochet. Make sure we carry that white yarn with us. And this last red stitch, we're going to switch to the white to complete that stitch. Okay, carry the red with us, as we complete these 6 white half double crochets. And this last white stitch, we're going to switch to red. Carry the white with us as we finish up these last 6 red half double crochets of the row. And on that last red stitch, we're going to switch over to white to complete that stitch. And that's the end of round 5. It already looks super amazing. I am just so thrilled with this pattern. And we're going to move that stitch marker to the last stitch of the round. Okay, now we're going to add the hair tie. So we're going to single crochet around, keeping with our colors. But as we do, we're going to attach the hair tie, which is going to be the exact same as carrying that extra yarn. So we're just going to put it there with that red. We're going to do 1 single crochet in white in that first stitch. And another single crochet in white. Notice we're going over the hair tie and that red yarn. We're going to carry both of them. Okay, we're going to do single crochets until we get to the end of this white section. 6 single crochets in total. Okay, that's the last white single crochet, so let's switch to red. Now we're going to carry the white yarn and the hair tie to do 6 red single crochets. And the last red single crochet, we're going to switch back to the white. Okay, so I like to pull that hair tie that pushes those stitches a little bit closer together so it's not so tricky to crochet around this. So white single crochet around the hair tie and the red yarn. 6 in total. And on that last white single crochet, we're going to switch back to red. Okay, pull that hair tie, push those stitches a little bit further down the hair tie, gives you more space. And now we're going to do 6 single crochets with red. We're going to go over the hair tie and that white yarn. And that last stitch marked with a stitch marker, start the single crochet in red and the single crochet in white. Okay, and now we're done with that round. Okay, you can see now we have that nice tight hair tie, and that's going to keep that bun hugger in place. Move that stitch marker to the last stitch of the round. Right, now we're going to move on to the brim. So very similar to a hat, this brim's going to lay flat. So we're going to do front loop only, double crochets. Okay, we're still going to carry that red yarn, so we're going to do a double crochet. Now a double crochet increase in the next stitch, front loop only. Double crochet in the next stitch. Double crochet increase in the next. Okay, front loop only. Double crochet in the next stitch. And then a double crochet increase on that last white stitch. When switching colors, we're going to pull 2 through with white, and then that very last pull through, we'll switch over to the red. Okay, now double crochet in the front loop only with the red. Okay, we're still going to carry that white with us. Double crochet increase in the next stitch. Front loop only. Double crochet in the next stitch. Double crochet increase in the next. Now double crochet in the next stitch. And then an increase in that last red stitch. Pull through 2 and then switch to white to do that last pull through 2. Okay, double crochet in the next stitch. We're still going to carry that red yarn with us. Increase in the next. Double crochet in the next stitch. double crochet increase, double crochet in the next stitch, and then an increase in that last white stitch, switch to red, okay, and we're still going to carry that white with us. We want to finish in white, so we're going to keep it till the very end. Okay, so double crochet in the next stitch, double crochet increase in the next stitch, double crochet in the next stitch, double crochet increase, okay, and in that last stitch we're going to do an increase, and before completing that stitch we're going to switch back to the white, and then we're going to slip stitch to the first stitch of that round. Okay, I like to chain 2, and then I'm going to cut my yarn. Okay, cut the red yarn, and we'll sew in these ends a little bit later, but you can see that's the complete bun hugger.